I'd like to talk a little bit more about the building process and what you just went through, because I think you all had very different experiences. And so if you can just kind of go through how you got started. What made you decide on the style of house that you wanted, and what that process was like just at the beginning? So I'll start with you, Chad.
At the start, what we were looking for was, well, we definitely wanted a walkout.
Yes.
And with respect to the process, we definitely had made the decision early on after going through open houses and looking through the real estate websites. We decided that we wanted to do a customized home. Mm-hmm. And I think we kind of looked at a customized home kind of like power windows. Like once you have it, it's pretty hard to go back.
Yeah.
And what was interesting is that what we found is that a large majority of the houses that were being constructed in Kelowna at the time were not what we found to be conducive for a younger family. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, for example, you've got bedrooms on the same floor as the primary bedroom, things of that nature. So, when we were looking at kind of what the options were, I think we zeroed in pretty quick and looked at ourselves and said, you know what, like, I think we can sort of sit down and if we're able to customize it and get relatively what we want without too many trade-offs, that was definitely the way to go. Yeah. And then our process with you guys started when we came into your show home. Mm-hmm. Yeah, way back when.
Yeah.
Parked on our yard for the parking lot.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. I forgot about that.
And our lot was actually the parking lot.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Oh my God.
Way back when.
Yeah.
I love what you've done with the place.
Thank you.
It looks so much better now.
And then we met you and Brian was there. So we met you guys.
And we met Gina too. We met, and Gina and Curtis was walking in too, just briefly. So we met all of you at the time.
Yeah. And that's
you can't
basically,
get rid of us,
I know.
Yeah. And that's basically where it all started.
Yeah.
And then I think we decided to have a follow-up meeting about kind of what the options were in terms of customized build. Mm-hmm. And I think for us, we were sold on the fact that we could pretty much have all the options available to us, whether we want to do full customization or maybe pick an existing plan and kind of tailor it a little bit. And the fact that we had all those options available to us, I think we said, yeah, let's take the ball and start running with it.
Just speaking of the experience, I think one of the things that was rather unique that I can't say that I've seen too often is the fact that we came into this build and you designed it all for us. And you were willing to sit down with us and talk to us and give us options and ideas that you'd accrued through the years. I think that's rather unique because, a lot of people will go to a place that will have just, a drawing and you're paying the architect, you're paying all these fees, you have to change for all the alterations and everything else. We don't do that here. Mm-hmm. I think that's something very special about Ovation specifically, because have you ever seen that? Because I don't think I've ever seen that before, where you literally went and revisited the plan when something wasn't quite right, or when we kind of said, gee, what if we put this here? And you were open to all those suggestions. And between, the three of us, mostly you and Chad, although I stood there and looked pretty for a while. But,
you did that very well.
Thank you. I tried, but I brought you guys coffee. But being able to just have that flexibility and just be right there on site to say, gee, will this work? And do the calculations and say, okay, what if we measure this here? And that hands-on live, ability to change things on the fly. Mm-hmm. I just don't think you can find that. Oh, and maybe I stand corrected if somebody knows, but I don't think that's something you really find.
The biggest thing that we talked about was it was a big opportunity for us to customize the home and then have all that potential, which was basically, limited to just simply, which lot we pick and work within the confines of that. And then other than that, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
I always say it's only limited by your imagination and your budget.
Yeah.
Budget's usually the biggest limitation.
Well, to that end, Teresa, what I really enjoyed in the process of building was, and I mentioned this before, but your ideas, when you would, I know Teresa has, I don't know if you guys heard the expression of cheap chic, but I think this was a Teresa term that she came up with. But it's when you make something that, you see something on, in a magazine or something and you say, wow, I really like that, but that costs a bloody fortune. Well, the beauty about cheap chic is you can do something that's sort of like that for a fraction of the cost, but make it look really, really good. And you still get the effect of it. And to the average person walking through, if you're, depending on people's budgets, of course, but if you are in a position where you're trying to sort of stay in a modest range for a budget, it was really handy to have your ideas on hand to just say, gee, I've seen this done and I think I can do this. And that is just invaluable.
Oh, thank you. I mean, to me, a good deal is always in fashion.
Yeah.
So you guys got a little bit different process because I met you guys and then COVID kind of happened. And then everything was done virtually.
It was a thing.
How did you find the virtual process though?
So it was a little challenging because not being able to meet in person and see things like physically up front in terms of design, everything was all either shared via like a shared screen during a video conference or sent to us via email or some form. So I think for Bob and I, this being a first time process and not having any experience, like it was kind of all we knew. Mm-hmm. So if we had a better frame of reference from maybe doing it before, maybe that would have been more challenging, but it's all we knew. So we just went with it because it was the process, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it would have been nice to sit down more in person and we did see each other a few times, like with COVID policies in place. But I have to say, like from the moment of connecting with you, Teresa, and just Ovation, like I just felt like it was challenging, but it was easy to move through the step-by-step process because you knew what you were doing. You guys explained everything very well. You put Bob and I, our mind at ease in terms of like how we were going to proceed to the next step and how we were going to get through this process. And there were so many factors from labor shortages to supply and demand to lumber increases to just so many things. And I mean, our friends have built homes, one in Summerland, one in McKinley, and we've heard horror stories from those processes, and that was before COVID. So I think there's always going to be challenges no matter what. When mm-hmm. building your own and customizing your own home, mm-hmm. there's always going to be things, but COVID was its own can of worms. Yeah. And I have to say, for whatever it was, as hard as it was, the process wasn't that bad. Like it was...
You did a great, you did a great job moving walls around and stuff on the screen while we were all on a call together, right? And, and we were building with, my mother-in-law, Sylvia's mom, because she was going to live in the downstairs suite and she was living in Vancouver. So to a point, it worked out great and you can find a time that works for everybody and you hop on a call and sometimes you can't hear somebody, sometimes you can't see somebody, but you always made it work. We got through everything. We came back to what we needed to. So yeah. I think the design part worked really well kind of virtually just because of that.
Yeah, and like just being able to trust Teresa and her experience because obviously Bob and I had never done this before and I have a bit of a creative like I'd like to say that I'm creative. I don't know how creative, but obviously never doing something like this before, it's completely new and it's intimidating. Yeah. But you have somebody that knows the process and you put out ideas and then virtually like, oh, Teresa, what about this, this, and this? And then you'd come back and say, hey, like I figured this out. Like let's like, what do you think about this, or what do you think about this? And then we would tweak it, and we would go. We were able to customize things that worked for us and our family. And at the time, my mom, who was going to be living downstairs, but she had a pretty big life change, so that didn't happen. And now we have tenants, which is great. It worked out for whatever it was, but. Yeah, like, you know, you were accommodating to both Bob and I, and to my mom, who had very specific needs in her suite. So it was hard, but we made it work. And if that's something that for somebody that, let's say, is buying from out of town or is interested from a different part of the world, country, province, it's totally doable. Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, they should probably all come and thank you guys personally, because you were the guinea pigs for that process. So we worked all the glitches out, the sound and the video. I can't figure out how to share this. I'll just send you an email.
Well, that was just Sylvia's mom, but you know, that's
yeah, let's
fine.
blame
Put her under
grandma.
the bus. Don't show her this video.
Yeah, don't show her this video.
That's awesome. And so, Levi and Yolan, you enjoyed the process so much, you're doing it again. You're in the process of building your second home.
Yes. That's
So
right.
maybe you can talk about sort of both and what led you to the decision to do this again. Let me do this to you again.
Yeah, so we're really happy. Actually, you know, when we designed our first home, I think we really appreciate Teresa for all the design. Like, we have 5 kids. We have, you know, we have 2 girls and 3 boys. We have twin boys. They're the youngest one, and we have 5 bedrooms. Each kid they can get a bedroom, and also we have 4 washrooms.
Yeah.
And it's really, I mean, we have also even a piano room, and also I have my office.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have customized home, and I can not imagine we can buy something available already. So we have to design it for all the kids. And yeah, also we have a legal suite that we can rent out. As a young family, I think this is really helpful. Yeah, to pay for part of the mortgage, I think.
Yeah.
Right now, I think, kids growing and we need more space. And also, I kind of get, promoted a little bit compared to
Nice.
the beginning.
Congratulations.
So,
Good for you.
the budget is better and we have to be more money and we can afford to have the second one. The bigger one, we don't need to rent out for the new house. We can just occupy ourselves and we have bigger space, and kids, they have, more storage, and they can invite friends come for party even. Maybe we have also a very good view, like fantastic view here up on the top.
Yeah.
So I mean, kids are super excited.
The kids have already told me I'm invited to the first part.
For sure. Yeah, I think, we're really happy because I think, I really appreciate your expertise. I think really very helpful. I mean, to design, all the details, and especially very suitable for us, like for a big family, right? It's 5 kids, 2 adults, right? And we have all the, all the, I think probably the optimized design, the best design. I think we can think of. Even sometimes we don't think of some features, and you help us to bring up always the best one. I really appreciate.
For me, the second time around was so cool because the first time, Joshua, their middle boy now, was the same age as the twins, and so he's 10 now. He's a young man. And when he first came in, I was in the trailer. We didn't even have a show home built yet. And he was my little helper. He would come in, and if something printed, he went and got it off the printer and was just so helpful. So it's so cool to see the kids grow and change, and knowing them actually helped a lot, because then when I was doing the rooms and trying to make sure we got all of that in that, knowing the personalities really helped. So it's a really super cool scenario. We have the master bedroom on the main, and then the girls have their own rooms and bathrooms upstairs with a bonus room. So they have their own sort of, similar to the bonus room like that you guys have. And then down in the basement, that's the man cave, the boy cave. So the twins and Josh are down there, and then they have their own family room area. So the kids have all said they're pretty excited about being separated.
Girls upstairs, so boys downstairs. We have our main floor.
Yeah.
And,
They will have their own personal space, because sometimes when they invite friends over, like the boys, girls don't want mixed together.
Sure.
So the girls can stay up, have their own party, and the boys can also have some play days with their buddies.
It's great.
So and
Yeah.
for us, can just stay in the middle and to relax. So I feel it's so cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Really, thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Yeah.
She's like our friend. She really cares, and she knows our needs and our families. That's why that we just.
Oh, that's the best
Yeah,
compliment.
just-
Thank you so much. Do you want me to cry on video?
To be like second home. Yeah.
I feel you don't get that from other
Yeah.
builders. And I think because you guys do the whole process, it's not just like buying the lot and then having a builder come in and
Yeah.
just speaking from other friends that have had these experiences before with different builders, like you would never get that one-on-one personal connection. Like you might develop a bit of a relationship with your builder because you're involved in a pretty big process, but like it's just the whole like, you know, family connection, the whole like, you know, willing to go the extra mile to get to know the families, to be present and understand what they need and like helping them, not just trying to push them into doing something they don't want to because it's easier for the builder or it's more money for them or whatever. Like I truly feel like this whole process, it was more just for Bob and I and our what we needed. It wasn't like trying to push us into something we weren't comfortable with. And
thank
I
you.
know that that's been experiences from my friends. So yeah, we very much appreciate that a lot. Yeah.
I honestly, I mean, I genuinely feel like my customers are the best part of my job. Like I genuinely feel that way because I feel really lucky that you all let me sort of become a part of your family, you know, and get to know your family and get to know your kids. I feel very privileged with that. So thank you. Yeah.